Hi, my name is Gabrish, and I am a hairstylist and a color enthusiast here in Norman, Oklahoma. Art has always been such a huge portion of my life, but as I graduated high school, I quickly moved into hair school because as a visual artist, I wanted to expand my horizons of my creativity. And just a few months before I graduated hair school, I ended up finding Salon Zen. I found Salon Zen. And after I found Salon Zen, I started off as the receptionist. Quickly after that, I had the privilege of becoming the salon's first associate, where I quickly worked my way through the program. And during that program, they exposed me to the education that just blew my mind. But I still jumped on every opportunity that I had because I wanted to grow and I wanted to learn. I wanted to be something bigger than what I was. Pureology's education reminded me why I started this journey and where I was going with it and why I couldn't stop. Through that, I found Pureology. And not only did I love what Pureology just does for the hair and just how luxurious the product is itself, I ended up finding out what Pureology actually stands for. And to that is what made me absolutely fall in love with the product line. Knowing that they are associated with and support Global Green, which helps bring awareness to sustainability and water conservation. And on top of that, they are also a huge supporter of Hairdressers Against AIDS. AIDS has shown me that even as a hairstylist that is HIV positive, I can make a difference. I can be a shining beacon of hope for somebody. I can even just be a shoulder for someone to cry on. Through Pureology, I can do anything. Pureology has given me more of a purpose than I've ever really found in anything else before. And through Pureology, I know I'll be able to achieve my dream and make it a reality of working with Fashion Week and Redken Symposium, and on top of that, other fashion shows. And here is my updo that I've prepared for you guys. Hi, today I'm going to show you guys a pretty simple but yet elegant upstyle on Anya today. First, since she has pretty vibrant copper hair, I decided to prep her with Pureology's Reviving Red shampoo and conditioner. Both are going to help fight against free radicals and help keep her hair nice and silky smooth. After I towel dried it, I decided to prep her with Pureology's Color Fanatic, which has many benefits, but today I'm mostly using it for the fact that it helps cut down on my blow drying time and has heat protection and helps protect her hair color integrity. After that, I sectioned her off through the parietal ridge and through the back middle section on both sides. And after that, after I sectioned her off, I used Pureology's Root Lift all over the scalp, which is going to really help give me some really good control over the root area of the hair shaft, which is going to give me awesome results with my directional blow drying. And then after that, I applied Pureology's Silk Bodifier from mid-shaft to end, which is going to help give me a nice moderate hold, so that way I can manipulate it and kind of control it a little bit more than just not having any product on there at all. And so that way, with both of those products, not only are they going to give me some nice control over the hair, but they're going to help give me some pretty awesome shine. So that way, in the end, we can have a nice polished look and a beautiful upstyle at the end. First, I'm going to start off by sectioning Anya on the right side, on the parietal ridge. Once I got that done, I'm going to come around to the other side and section her off on that side of the parietal ridge as well. And once I have that down, then I'm going to go right behind the crown area of the head. And then clip that off. There's our first section. Once I have that down, then I'm going to come back to the right side and do a diagonal forward parting right behind the ear. clip that off. And then I'm going to come back around to the left side. And same thing as what we did on the right side, diagonal forward parting and clip. And once we have those other two sections down, we're going to come right above the occipital bone and part. And there we go. And we have that section, and then this is our last section that we're going to start working with first. Okay, so first, we're going to start with the back section that is below the occipital bone. This way, we can build the foundation for our up style. We're going to divide it into fourths, or thirds, whichever works best for you. And section off, and then clip it up. And then we're going to begin with this bottom section with a little bit of lacing. Lacing is just a technical term for backcombing in Pureology language, basically. So we're going to do a little bit, kind of at the root area, because we do not want too much at the bottom to where it's going to protrude out. We want most of it to kind of elevate up, like that. Like I just gestured with my hands. So we're going to section off another piece, clip up, grab that section, and then begin lacing yet again. Don't worry about being too neat around the edges or anything like that, because at the end of this, we're going to smooth it out. Now, unclip your last section, and then begin to start lacing again. Do it however you need possible on the top section, because the top section isn't going to be smoothed out. This is just the top section is just going to be basically the cushion where you're going to fasten your open fasteners. Now that we have all of this laced and ready to be smoothed out, you're going to begin smoothing either with your lacing brush or your styling brush. Whichever one you choose is your choice. So I'm going to start with my lacing brush because it's already in my hand. And I'm going to start smoothing from both sides and from the bottom. And whenever you feel like you have something at a point of smoothness that you want to kind of help preserve, that is why we have Pureology's Strength and Control Hairspray. Spritz it on in the direction that you want in the direction that you want your hair to travel. And then smooth it in that direction as well. And once you kind of get that going, then kind of, work your way around. And bend yourself in ways you didn't know you could. And then keep on smoothing. Some spots will probably be a little bit more difficult to smooth out than other spots, but just work it through. And then once you get it to where, once you get the back section to where you want it with the smoothness, you can grab it kind of like so. And then you're going to have like this little tail section. And with this little tail section, you're pretty much just going to divide it in two. And with dividing in two, it's going to be a lot easier for you to manage to roll it up. So grab one section of that tail and start to kind of roll it inwards. Kind of like so. And with rolling it in, since we don't want it to the back to come out too far, we're going to just try and roll it in as tight as we possibly can. And so I'm going to try and roll it into about like right there. And then grab your open fastener and kind of weave it in and out and then place it in. And there we go. We have that on that section. And then grab your other section, the other side of it, It's a little not smooth. So smooth it out just a little bit more. And then begin to start rolling it in, just like you did the other side. And then grab your open fastener, kind of like that. And then secure. And now we have the back section of our occipital bone. Okay, now that we're done with the portion just below the occipital bone, we're going to move to the portion just above the occipital bone, which is just this smaller section right here. And just like the portion that we did below, we're going to divide it up into a couple sections. Actually, this one's just going to be 2 sections, not 3 or 4, like the one below it. So, divide and clip. And this one is just going to be purely lacing, basically. We're going to leave a little bit out on the ends, so that way we have a little bit to tie into our pin curl on the other side that we do. So, okay. Get started, just start lacing. Really, there's nothing else to this section, just lacing. Like I said, leave a little bit out, like so. Unclip. Get the next section. Kind of elevate it just a little bit. More like elevation and volume through this top section as we transition. So, but we'll talk about that more later in the upcoming sections that we talk about. So get this down. And now we still have a little bit hanging out. So we're good. And that is that section. Okay, now we're moving on to the left portion side of the head, which is the exact same partings as the right side of the head. So whatever we do over here, we are going to mirror over here. Angles, formation, foundation, everything. Okay, so we're going to start at this top right section of this parting. And we're going to take a diagonal back parting from it. We're going to bring it up and build a small laced foundation. Since it's going to be on the side of the head, we want this to be smooth. We're not going to create too much bulk from the lacing. Just enough so that way we can manipulate it and build a little bit of a foundation from it. And you want to take about 1/2 inch partings in this section, so that way we can keep control over the style. And once we get to the hairline, we're going to do it just a little bit different, so that way it doesn't show too much and doesn't give us too much of a hassle when we try to smooth it out. Okay, now we're to the hairline part of the hair. So we're going to, instead of coming to the front of it like that, we're going to come behind it, like so. It's going to create just a little bit of a backcombed look, or a lace look, but with our lacing brush or styling brush, we're going to be able to smooth through that. So, since we have that down, we're going to go ahead and start trying to smooth this out. And while we're trying to smooth this out, we're going to try and create a nice continuing look from what we have right here, where we started in the first place. And while we're trying to smooth, Pureology's Strengthening Control Hairspray will be your best friend. So do small bursts of the hairspray in the direction that you want the hair to travel. And then come through with either the lacing brush or your finishing brush. And just kind of come around with it. And keep on smoothing as you go. And keep on spraying a little bit more of the Strengthening Control Hairspray, because that's going to keep everything in formation that you need. come around. And to keep it in the place that we need it while we work on the next section, grab an open fastener and secure it. Don't worry about anything too much, because whenever we bring it around and contribute the other side in, we may need to take that other fastener out and then replace it. So don't worry too much. Don't try to get it stuck in there. Just get it nice and secure for now. Okay, now that we have the left and the right side laced with the foundation that we needed to come straight back, we're going to start smoothing this other side, the right side in. And just do the same thing as what you did on the left side. Just kind of incorporate it, and remember that we're going to bring this side into a pin curl about right here. And remember to also kind of like smooth this into this as well, and keep it nice and uniform. And remember also, when you're smoothing, remember your best friend. Keep that nice and sleek as well. And also, another amazing tool is Pureology's Density Definer. And you can kind of keep it on the back side of your hand. So that way you always have it on at your disposal. It's a small little white jar. It smells like oranges. It's quite magnificent. And I like to use it, at least in this look, to kind of help piece out the ends, so that way we have a more sculpted, polished look. You grab your lacing brush, or your finishing brush, whichever one it is that you're using, and smooth everything in 2-1. And don't worry about this top portion right here and how it looks, because we're going to smooth this part into the back of it. So grab some density definer, emulsify it in your fingers, piece it out some, sculpt it, and manipulate. And now that we have it in this pin curl formation, we can use our open fasteners to secure it. And once we get it secured, remember your best friend. Got it? So this way, they keep everything in place. And smooth. And we're halfway done. Okay, now that we're done with this portion, we're going to start on at least the first half of the top portion. And honestly, this is mostly just all lacing. We're going to smooth most of it out anyways. So section off the first inch of the back. And with that, just bring it straight up and lace. And just like this back portion that we did right in here, just above the occipital, we're going to leave just a little bit out so that way we can smooth more into it. So grab another section about the same width and push that forward, grab that, and lace. And in the section previous, leave a little bit out. And then grab another. You'll probably do about 3 to 4 sections in this portion before we get to the front bang section of it. And leave out. Okay, now that we're done with the first half section of the top portion, now we can start on the bang section. First, we're going to need to separate out the bangs, which, as most of you know, you do with eyebrows. So with the arch of the left eyebrow, we're going to come straight back and part that off. And then with the other side, we're going to come with the right eyebrow and then come like vertical back basically. And we're going to make like a 45-degree angle with the bang area. So that way it's like, oh, sorry, Anya, like that. Where you can see coming like right there and then right there. Okay, now that we have that taken care of, section that off. And then, with this, you may need to take a section or two, or just start lacing the whole thing. With me, I'm just going to part it off into 2 different sections, and then I'm going to start lacing. Because with these sections, we're going to smooth these out anyways. So we don't need too much lacing in it because we're already going to have so much volume in there anyways. This is just going to help me connect everything. So we have that, and then now we have this last portion. And this last portion, I'm just going to do is one whole section. So we got that done. And now we begin smoothing. So with smoothing on this end, we're going to start over here first. Sorry, I'm kicking things right now. We're going to start smoothing, using whatever brush it is that you are wanting to use at this time, or whatever brush you feel comfortable with, or have been using this entire time. And then, here comes your best friend to save the day. Keep everything nice in place and smooth. Grab a little bit of density definer and smooth that out. Kind of give it a little bit more of a polished look. Spritz a little bit more on there. Smooth out with your palms. There we go. And then I'm going to come around to this other side. Okay, now that we're on the left side of the head to start smoothing this out, let's begin. It's just like all the other smoothing that we have done with this entire up style. Just be sure to keep everything nice and uniform with the direction that the rest of the hair is going. So keep that going. And then strengthening control, spritz some on there, and then smooth. And today's word is smooth. Spritz some through the top and kind of smooth that out some as well. And then if anything starts to get a little flat, you can always go in with the tail end of your finishing brush, or even if you have a rat tail comb. You can kind of go in there and kind of lift it up just a little bit. But remember to keep it smooth. Bring that forward, smooth that out. And right now is when the hairspray strengthening control will definitely show how good of a friend it really is. Because this is what's going to connect all of this. And so now that we have this smoothed out, we're going to go into this section right here and how it's kind of frizzing out right there. Come through with the strengthening control. And if you styled her out right with the right products, then you'll be able to just smooth this in and it'll hold with just the hairspray. You may need to build up the strengthening control just a little bit in order for it to stay. But if you need to finish off some of the ends, just go through with some of the density definer that is on the back of your hands. Emulsify it in your fingers, like so, and piece it out. Well, not piece it out, sculpt it. Define it just a little bit more, like there. And now we have our pen curl. And now it's time to move on to the bangs. Okay, now that we have everything nice and polished and smoothed out and hairsprayed down, now it's time to move on to the bang section. With the bang section, it's pretty simple. So we have this, and then this is where I definitely recommend using your styling brush, because it's a lot easier to control this whole section with something larger like your styling brush at more than, your lacing brush. So I recommend smoothing it down so that way this will help kind of give us like that swoopy bang look. And then kind of smooth it over to the side, or whichever side you want it to go to. With this style, we're going off to the right. And so we're brushing it off to the right. And Anya's gonna hold my brush real quick. And then I'm gonna grab just a little bit of the density definer that's on the back of my palms. And then I'm gonna sculpt out this end just a little bit. And then, since we have it sculpted, I'm gonna kind of spin it around. So that way, we have our pen curl. That's gonna finish off our bang section. And now, it's time to use your open fastener and secure. Secure from the top first, and then move to the bottom section. And bam. Got that? Now it's time to finish it with your best friend. Spritz, smooth, and we're golden. I would just like to take the time to thank you for taking time out of your day to watch my video and to give me the opportunity to apply to be a Pureology artist. Thank you.